What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I want to do a quick update video on the Seraph PvE combo and basically everything else I use. Now, I made a video of this a couple of days ago, and with more practice over time, I changed a few things and wanted to just expand on that. So the other video that you watched, I still think it's good, but, you know, this is more from basic combo a little bit to going more into detail and talking about a little or a few other things I just skipped in the other one. So, with that said, I am currently playing this on my tag right now with main gear. So that means I get to try out other spots that you'll probably be seeing in the future with other grind spot videos I plan on doing. But some other things that I didn't really mention was first and foremost the Reforge stones, because I've also seen a lot of other streamers and YouTubers, they don't really talk about this, and this is what I use. And basically this is the same thing I would use on my main, my Dark Knight, but the important thing to use if you don't already have it on all of your weapons is Black Spirit Rage Recovery. Now, most people should already have this going on because it was generally pretty good for everyone to use even before Seraph even came out. So just wanted to make sure that people actually do have this on, Black Spirit Rage on literally all three of them. Okay, so with that said, gonna try to talk about more of the things I changed previously. Let's talk about the add-ons. So yeah, some of these are the same, some of them that I changed up before. So the ultimate goal that I had in mind was, you see how all these buffs line up? In practice, you should have 100% uptime on as many of these skills as you can. Crit rate being very important, attack cast speed, crit damage, attack, and back attack damage. You kind of want to keep these up as close to 100, if not 100% of the time as you can. And these also flow very well into your combos as well. So yeah, the important things that I have, you could probably substitute out the all damage reduction, or you know, the buff for you with like movement speed, or if you're PvPing, you could do it like plus accuracy or minus accuracy for players. But for PvE, the goal is to basically pre-buff yourself, or like get all your buffs going on, and with crit rate, attack speed, and then crit and back attack damage, and then debuff the enemies with all this one, and then do your combo. So with that said, things that I wanted to note from before, things will probably change, and the rotation might differ a little bit when Magnus skills and, you know, the skill enhancement, or Rabombs as we know them, come out in the future. So just keep that in mind. Few skills that I lock are evasion, and I've seen people say they lock the Gallows Grip. I personally haven't found an issue with it, but you know, I don't think you need to lock it. Depending on how fast you click your buttons, I could see that being an issue, but ultimately it's not really a big deal. So yeah, like, I'm not used to playing or with grab classes in general, so as a Dark Knight, is like, this is one of those things where I get a grab, or more or less. So anyway, okay, so this is what I have, and then admittedly I haven't really played too much with the dark form. Since I made the last video, I've just stuck to the light one. We'll just call it light and dark to make it easier. And that's what I do. Okay, so some of the skills that I switched up from before. I found that a different rotation worked a little bit better. And it's just adding to the one that I made from before that video. It's kind of that, but with a few more steps included. All right, so with that said. Okay, so yeah, let me show you the combo. You can see it on screen as well, but the way I lined it up is, let me show you. So your opening would go left to right. So this is what I have in order. For F, hold F again, and then space, or whatever button you have that on, followed by a Shift F into Shift RMB, and then WF, Shift LMB, and then Shift RMB, and then you would Z buff. And then once you go into the light form, which is your awakening, those are a little bit more freestyle, and it's a little bit more important to do the main combo correctly because these are your add-ons, and that's what puts your buffs on first. But once you Z-buff, I feel like these are a little bit more freestyle, in my opinion. This is your buff that you would also make sure to press every 3 minutes, and every class has it, so just make sure this one is, you know, buff. So yeah, what I found was Shift E feels better to go into Shift Q, whereas like Q into E feels a little bit weirder, but ultimately it's still freestyle depending on what your combo is. But anyway, with that said, knowing this one, let me just show it to you slowly before we go into anything else. So Q, F, hold F, space, and then Shift F, and then S, L, M, B, and then W, E, or W, F, Shift LMB, Shift L, RMB, and then depending on if your Black Spirit Rage is at 100 or not, usually it probably will be if you're doing it faster and then in groups. So let's just do it again. Pretend that like your combo or your BSR is about at 70%. You just do it again, and then let's say your buffs fell off, then that. And now that it's at 100, what you would do immediately after, Z buff, and then look at the bottom. Then you do that one. And then you could also, you know, just keep going with anything else that's off cooldown, because by the time you get through these 6 already, chances are you still have more time, and then you could just keep doing it again. So yeah, basically what you want to look at is this timer and see how long things go on for. So that's how long you have on everything else over here. So just make sure to look at that timer. Realistically, in real situations, you could probably get roughly about 70-80-ish% of your BSR back after, you know, this timer runs out. And so, you know how we talked about in the beginning, when you have your BSR recovery, that's where a lot of that is coming from as well. So I think I read in the Global Lab notes they're changing a lot of the skills in both light and dark form to have higher BSR recovery. So I think it might be a lot better in terms of overall recovery. Maybe you'll be able to stay in the light or dark form going forward. But ultimately, as it stands right now, opener with this combo, like the purple followed by 100% BSR, and then into, I would say you could probably do more if you wanted to, but these are the ones that I found that flowed pretty well, and you could just cycle infinitely, in my opinion. So once again, all you have to do is hit your Q for a 20 damage reduction, and then open your combo with like 2 F space, and then Shift F down RMB, and then I put these together. Like, I feel like these abilities, you could also just hold your RMB in any of these skills down here that would flow into it. But I put these together because it's just for newer players and people who are learning. Pressing, like, let's say Shift LMB and then RMB and then like another combo would be a little bit harder. That's why I put like Shift LMB and then Shift RMB together. Whereas I've seen other people put it like, you know, this skill in the middle and then the other one in another weird spot. So just to make things flow easier, and for people who, well, I guess playing on controller might be a bit different, but either way, I try to line things up with not only timers, but the skill add-ons, and also, you know, are the buttons near each other? So like Shift LMB, Shift RMB, literally one difference click compared to like Shift LMB, F, down F or something. So that's why you line these up. Space, Shift F, you could hold RMB twice as well, then down. And then once you're at 100%, do all these. Once again, the light form, I feel like you could do them in, you know, any order you really want to, but these are the ones that just felt smoother for me. And then, of course, your 3-minute E-buff or equivalent to whatever your class is, you would do this. This is actually pretty good. That's kind of crazy. Like, I wish other classes would have this. Like, 1500 HP for 30 seconds. That's kind of good. And then along with the all the CCs, like down, back, air, movement speed, you know, pretty standard. So yeah, that's what I have. Make sure to do that. And in between here, you could flow, or you could just hold RMB, but I can't really show you that in here because like you can't put these on the skill cooldown, because if you have it once, you can't have it duplicated. So somewhere in between these lines, like down here, when you, let's say you do SRMB, just hold RMB once or twice and then continue going. So that's how I would do it. But anyway, yeah, you could just look at your skills and make sure to see what flows. If you're confused about what goes where, just look at these lines and this tells you what connects with what. So yeah, that's how you read it, just in case you're new, like, or it doesn't make any sense. Skill connects, flows, and then goes into the ultimate or absolute one or level. But anyway, I actually think Savior or Seraph is actually pretty fun. Yes, I wish that we could play light and dark at the same time. I think everyone wishes they could do that, but it is what it is. As of right now, light is significantly better than dark, but hopefully with the upcoming changes with BSR, dark would also be very competitive. But until then, stick with the light one. It's just straight up better. It is what it is until Prebuffs can fix that. But anyway, stick around in the future. We'll probably do some grind videos, and you guys can see this in action. I was thinking about actually doing some black shrines because they reset for the week, so I was gonna do that. Anyway, with that said, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace!